Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're well. Welcome back to Learn English with British Harry. My name is Harry. Hello. So, when you are learning English, you need to keep it simple. And I don't think this is emphasized enough. It's very easy to get lured into the trap of thinking, I need to learn 3 amazing idioms, 50 amazing idioms, or I need to learn this specific grammar rule and this will elevate my English. So first, if I go back, lured, this means to be enticed, or simpler, this could mean to be drawn into. So you want to keep it simple. And when I say simple, sometimes this can be easier said than done. You need to look at where you are with your English learning. A lot of my students have challenges when it comes to improving their confidence and their fluency when speaking to people that they don't know. When they are around people that they know, it's much easier, but as soon as they are in a new situation, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel stressful because you can feel like you have the spotlight on you. It's much like recording this video. Essentially, I am talking to myself, but I imagine that I am actually talking to you, but it can feel like there's a spotlight. So a spotlight is a bright light. You can see this when you go to the theater and you see people standing on the stage and there is a bright light on them. So in these moments, it's really important to relax and think about the message. When I say the message, this is about what you are actually talking about. And we can break this down into different categories. You have things like introductions. If you haven't met this person before. If you have met this person before, are they an acquaintance? Are they a friend? Are they someone from work? You also have to think about what is the situation. Is it a formal situation? So is it something like a workplace meeting, or is it an informal place like a party, or you are talking to someone at the park or in a coffee shop? Because this affects the type of language that you use. So it's really important to practice both types of language, formal English and also everyday, relaxed, informal English. So like I said, you have different categories. You have your introduction, you have small talk, then you have different topics you can talk about. If it's the weather, if it's sport, if it's finance, if it's world news. And I highly suggest that you look at my videos, you look at my playlists, because I cover these different type of topics and categories to help you. So once you've assessed what the situation is, then you can try to allow the conversation to develop. Now here, you want to keep it simple. So, for example, if you're talking about the weather and if you see someone that you don't really know too well, so you can engage in some small talk. So, for example, it's really hot today. And this will encourage the other person to respond and say, yeah, it's boiling today. So boiling would mean that it's very hot in British English. Then you can think, okay, how can I develop the conversation going further? Well, you could ask them about their day. This is a very common question. How's your day going? How's your day been? So this will start to encourage the other person to give some information. So it's nice to have a basic framework when you enter a conversation, because you know that wherever the conversation goes, you're able to be relaxed. You're not putting pressure on yourself to think of advanced vocabulary on the spot. And it all takes practice. And one of the best things to do is to create scenarios in your head. A scenario is a situation, much like role play. And you can do it in your native language first if it's more helpful. So imagine yourself going in to a cafe, a coffee shop, and you want to order a cup of coffee. So you go through that scenario in your head. Now you try the same scenario, but in English. And if you get stuck, then you can search for specific vocabulary or watch my video about how to actually order a coffee in British English. So this makes the focus more targeted, and this can start to build up your confidence, because you want to start with the basic level first. For example, if someone asked me, how is your day going? I would say, yeah, it's going well, thank you. And then I can start to progress on to the next level. I like to explain it to my students that you are building a house. So you start with the first layer, the foundation. You start to lay the bricks. And as you progress, you start to lay another brick and another brick on top of each other. So you start to play with different sentences, different collocations, and listening to my videos can really help you to build understanding of how I am grouping certain words together. So this is the key concept when you are learning English, is to keep it nice and simple. Keep it simple. Don't try to overcomplicate things. And naturally, you will run into a wall. So this will mean that you've tried to keep it simple, but you get to a point where, okay, now I don't know how to progress. And this is where I also help my students, because I get to build up an understanding of what their personal style is, how they like to communicate or express themselves. Because we are individuals, we are not AI. We don't respond in the same way to another person, because that would also be quite boring. So we're able to add our own experiences into the conversation, and we start to develop our own vocabulary that fits us. We can find words and phrases that we like to say. So you want to write down these words, write down these phrases, and try to use them in new situations. So that phrase that you use in a coffee shop, you can try to use it when you see someone in the park or in the shops. So it's really important not to put pressure on yourself. Keep it simple. Try to keep a log or a diary of new words, new phrases. For example, I have a lot of videos where I talk about idioms, and I want you to watch the videos a few times and try to pick an idiom that you're going to use today and make it a goal. It's your mission to use that one idiom today. This way you are actually putting your learning from passive learning into active learning. And this is the best way to progress, because now, rather than just thinking about improving your English, you used English in a focused way. So that's a really nice way to keep it simple. Let me know what you thought of this video. Also, be sure to check out my phrasal book, and there is a bonus 1-hour video. You can go to my website, britishharry.com, click on the shop section, or you will find a link in my description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next lesson. Thank you, and bye-bye.